Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast live on Sunday afternoon. I'm your host, Dan Rolinson, joined by Matt Lynch in your lovely AV Floodlights t-shirt. For those watching along, we've got the live chat down in the corner next to Matt down there somewhere. So please keep it clean, but say what you like ultimately. I'm going to try not to get too distracted by the comments because I want to get in, say what we want to say and get out again, to be perfectly honest. Aston Villa's struggles continue with failing to beat 10-man Sunderland, although we looked better than we have done. But the bar is so low, Matt Lynch, that any sign of improvement is better than nothing. But still, one thing that confuses me from that game: Matty Cash put the ball into the thing with the net on. Like, what was that about? What does that mean? Is that good?
Well, it's not good when you go and concede a stupid goal 10 minutes later, is it? If that, it feels weird because we were playing it at such a weird tempo for against 10 men. It felt like we should have taken the game by Griffith's neck, but it felt like we scored the goal and then it was like, oh, should try and keep this now and try and avoid like scoring again and try and avoid them scoring, which didn't make any sense in that moment because I felt like we had Sunderland on the ropes before that. And to be honest, after we scored, we had a couple of moments where we still had them on the ropes, but lo and behold, within a few minutes later, we conceded a silly goal, which it was a silly goal because we let Isidore stay on side and he's poked it away and it's a clever finish.
I said I wasn't going to get too distracted by the comments, but I have. One of the first ones I spotted was like, we weren't better. We were, because we've scored a Premier League goal and we've made a couple of chances that we should have scored. Ollie Watkins should score. He's had chances that he's not done well with, but ultimately they were offside anyway. But we've not even been in those areas so far this season. That's why we're better. But still, don't get me wrong, nowhere near good enough. No. This is newly promoted Sunderland, who have started well, good at home, whatever, fine. Down to 10 men for 50-odd minutes. Like, Villa absolutely have to be winning that game. It is not acceptable not to win it. Please let me get that in early doors. However, we've been so dire in the other games. The fact that we've even at least had a look at the opposition goal from time to time, that is a slight improvement, but nowhere near good enough. And I've said my piece on the start of the season now because every game feels the same. It's like Groundhog Day. Every podcast feels the same. And I'm going to do a Q&A tomorrow or Tuesday with John where we will kind of debrief things a little bit deeper. So, Matt, this is your kind of chance to get things off your chest, I guess. We've not spoken since the deadline day live stream that we were pretty kind of optimistic and excited that Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho and to a lesser extent Victor Lindelof might come in and change things. And so far that they haven't really, despite Elliott's goal in the week against Brentford, and Sancho looks okay in little spells and he gets on the ball and looks like he wants to do something, but ultimately doesn't really do much. But I think that will hopefully come in time. What's happened, mate? What's wrong with us?
I think it's easy to look into a few theories when you look at where we are at the moment. I think one of them is that Emery has had a history of this, whereby after a couple of years, he's pushed the players as far as he can with his methodology and his systems, and then it peters out in a very sad way. It's happened at a few of his clubs he's been at. You have to look at the average age profile of the squad. It's the joint highest in the Premier League now. So there's a lot of players that have been at it. I saw the stat about 7 players played under Dean Smith. That's not a stat that I necessarily always believe into because Constance's in the form of his life in terms of a career and where he's at. But it's easy to read into that as well and say, well, where's all the money gone and where's the transfers gone in that time since then to a position where Emery could potentially turn and say, well, they're not my players. Well, they are his players at this point now, and it's simply not acceptable. The tempo's gone and the energy is gone, and it looked like there's no energy there, to be honest. And the lack of intensity is the most concerning bit for me, and the lack of care. So, well, no, they care. It's stupid to say professionals don't care. They do care. I think it's more of this lack of sort of guile and gusto to put something more on them. And we've just looked so negative and passive for weeks and weeks at this point. And you do wonder where the end is because there's so many players that look so out of form. And we scored the goal today and I thought, oh, well, this might sort of break the shackles. But then Watkins missed an absolute sitter, missed 2 sitters in the game. Guessop missed an absolute sitter in the first half. And Marlon was through on goal and decided to whack it 50 yards in front of himself. And it's trickled straight into the keeper's hands. So
should have scored from that position, shouldn't it?
There's all these moments where you think, well, it could have been a very different story, but I don't think we're in any position right now to say otherwise. Then you got to look at the way we are tactically and go, something's amiss. And whether that's the players are getting into that age bracket where they can't perform at the levels that Emery's expecting, or whether the tactics are just wrong. I don't. Yeah, it's odd. And the starting 11 caught me off guard today as well. I didn't expect to see Elliott on the bench, and
No, me neither.
loyalty there, I don't know, but there's no time for loyalty at this point now, and we need wins at this point. And I think the next week and a half are pivotal to what happens in the future. But the trouble is, our chips are in at the moment. All our chips are in on Emery's systems, Emery's players, Emery's people. We've got a lot of chips in that basket, and it's very difficult to pull away from that. So I've no doubt Emery will turn this around, by the way. I'm not saying he won't, but it just looks a bit bleak at the moment, doesn't it? And it's easy to get caught up and pent up. But it's a new week. We've got Bologna, and perhaps something will change, but I don't see where it is at the moment, to be honest.
No, we've spoken before about when you play in a different competition, just mentally it feels different. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we beat Bologna in a different competition and that lights something in us to then go and beat Fulham. Maybe, I don't know, I'm absolutely clutching at straws here. But we said after the international break, okay, maybe things change for Everton. Maybe things change for Sunderland. Like, how many times can we just keep saying, oh, maybe things will change for the next game, and ultimately they don't? I don't know what that's down to. I don't know whether it is tactical. I don't know whether it's the personnel, whether it's a lack of application or desire or whatever. Like, I'm not. It's difficult because you don't want to suggest, and we don't know enough to, like, you know, a lot of the kind of chatter is, you know, Rodgers looks uninterested, Watkins doesn't want to be here, things like that. Ultimately, we don't know whether those things are true, by the way, but you've got to assume surely they're not, right? Because they're professionals, they got to get on with it. But there's just something about Villa that is massively off. Things just don't look right, and it doesn't seem as simple as just bad form. It's like a bad touch, bad body language, just not really looking like your head is in the game. And you combine all those things and you have a few players that kind of throw in stinkers at the same time, and you get what we're seeing at the moment, just a team that is nowhere near good enough. And there's nothing to suggest Bologna will be better, or Fulham will be better, or Burnley, or Spurs, or whoever. I don't know what changes for that to be the case. Because it won't be Emery. They're not going to sack Emery in the next couple of weeks, and we're not going to get a whole new squad. No. So what happens? How can you change it?
I look at it and go, there's a few factors here. I'd argue Morgan Rogers obviously won his PFA Young Player of the Year and looks very good for England in the international break.
Yeah.
Either side of that, I don't think he's been good for the back end of last season or the last, obviously, start of this season. And I think a lot of that comes down to me is that Asensio ended up pushing him out wide. And I don't think Rogers operates best out wide. I think he's better down the middle. I think there's the freedom for that. So we've gone and plonked Buendia in there, which makes no sense to me. I think that surely away from home, you want a bit of pace or something to go against away, like when you're away from home, but you bring Buendia into the mix, who, by the way, I don't think should be a scapegoat by any means. I thought we had some poor touches, but I think a lot of the players had a poor touch in this game today. So I don't think it's down to that. But and that's what changes. I think Watkins just needs a goal. Don't care if it comes off his butt cheek or comes off his shoulder, wherever it comes off, he needs a goal. And I think that changes everything. I think that's part of it, really. Cash scoring today,
keep going until something changes.
I think we just need a goal. Generally, a goal changes everything, and suddenly a different team. And I'd like to think the atmosphere on Thursday will be rocking, and that's a real sort of helping hand towards that sort of change direction, hopefully, in terms of the way we play things. And I'd like to think, I know Sancho's not 100% yet, is he? So I'd like to think by next week he is, so at least he's challenging for that place in the team. I genuinely drop Watkins if you can't find the net on Thursday night, and so give him that shock. Same for Rodgers as well. I'd drop him midweek or on Sunday next week quite happily. So you're not indispensable in this team. You've got to show something for us. And the Mings and Konsa partnership is fine, but I think that for all of Pau's problems, we look a better team with him in there, from a passing range ability and general sort of way of playing. And I as much as I rated Digne last season, I think we should be starting Martin this season, to be honest. I think that he offers a lot much more going forwards for us and gives us that extra bit of sort of ability to actually get a ball into the box, because Digne's not doing a fat lot going forwards or defensively at the moment. So there's many holes you could pick, but in terms of what needs to change, I generally do think it's just that one goal, and that's a whole different picture for me. And also what needs to change is Matty Cash getting off set pieces. I don't understand that one. It's bizarre, to say the least. You've got actual dead ball specialists supposedly in the team, and then Matty Cash is stood over corners. Make that one make sense. So, but in terms of changes, I think the big one is it's easy to tell we need a goal for Watkins, but I do think that at the moment we've seen it time and time again. Watkins is a form player. At the moment, he's got none of it, and you do think that was his nose put out of joint by Rashford starting to get ahead of him last
Well,
season. I
that's in
don't
the
know,
past now. You're here, you're
but in
starting,
the past
play
you've got
better.
to show something. At the moment, none of them are.
Yeah.
And it's just bizarre to me. I don't understand it. I think that Gesson looked good to me. I know his end product wasn't there today, but he
Should have
was the only one
scored.
that was forwardly mobile and trying to beat man and take players on. So that's a real sort of takeaway from that, is that there is something in there for him. I know he got a bit of stick last week on here, didn't he? But for me, he looked good. But yeah, going back to the original point of what changes, it's got to be the goal.
I think that because we've scored today, and that's not really changed the way we've gone on to play. I think it's more you score a goal that's well worked or from a forward, because Matty Cash pinging him on from 30 yards, that it's got a bit of swerve on it, and the keeper should do better with. That's like people saying last year that Duran getting us out of a hole. Well, Matty Cash has got us out of a hole today. Then is the equivalent. It doesn't change that we've played better or played worse. It's a fullback's hit one and it's happened to go in. If you score a goal that is well worked, or Watkins does something out of nothing, and we that's a nice little move, that then gives those forward players confidence to then go and play better potentially. I just wonder what the mentality shift will be like for Europe. Will it just feel different, and that will kind of spark us into life? Will we do what Spurs did and be rubbish in the league, but somehow be able to turn it on for Europe? Is that the worst it's going to be this year? I don't know. It's really difficult at the moment. Like, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. Like, watching Villa is very tense. I find it like I'm on a kind of knife edge watching it, feeling like I'm so desperate for us to do something good, and then it always just fizzles out, and I'm like, this isn't going well. And when it's 0-0, I'm thinking, what, I've got to take the 0-0 now, to be honest, because I'm so like worried that we're gonna blow it basically and lose the game. So it's so bad. I've got to ask you about the R word, relegation. We got it leveled at us a little bit after the first couple of games, and I tweeted, relegation. You kind of having a laugh basically, and I've had a couple of tweets since then, almost like people want to kind of get me. Are you still confident you'll stay up? Yes, first of all, I don't think Aston Villa will be relegated. Do we look like a team that is kind of relegation candidates now? The football we're playing is, because we're in the bottom three, right? But we are. There was Chris Sutton on a commentary kept saying there's a good group of players here that are too good for this kind of goalless run to go on. This team, when they finally do click into gear, whether that's with Emery or let's say we do change it come Christmas, something will happen. Something will be different. Villa will get better, and they will not be relegated. It's 33 games to play. That is, how many points is that, Matt? 99 to play for? Is that the right maths?
A lot of points.
We're not
Yes,
going to get
you're
them all,
right.
are we? But we're going to get more than 30
Yeah.
points. Christ, come on.
Absolutely.
We are not going to get relegated. Just park that now. I said it first before. If you think we're going to get relegated, put some money on it, and you'll do okay if we do go down, because we won't. But we look absolutely woeful right this second. We are all hoping that something clicks and we go, okay, there, it's all right now. We're fine. But how long are we going to have to wait for that moment? Because I thought it would have come by now. I thought maybe Everton will be the one that we feel different. Maybe Sunderland will feel the one that's different. More games go by, the more it gets on that we are in trouble here. Again, not of actually going down, because I just don't believe it. I just don't. I can't.
We're not losing games of football here, which is the one thing we have to remember. We are.
True.
If we were to go out and beat Fulham and then beat Burnley the week after that, I think it is, isn't it? You'd go out then and go, we're unbeaten.
On a little beaten streak.
And it's funny that actually you look at it a very different way, don't you, when you say it like that? So football's a fickle game. Football's full of everyone that's very fickle about everything. And a lot of people have this, that, and the other banding around at the moment. But the last thing you can do here is start banding around Emery out X, Y, Z. Because of what benefit is that? You can feel that, of course, but it's of no benefit to go to Villa Park with that defeatist mentality on Thursday night against Bologna.
I don't think they'd sack him. I don't think he'd resign.
No, I don't think it helps at all, that sort of mentality. But something will change. It does. This is football. We were in a bad patch last season at a very different time. Who's to say we don't go on and win our next 10 games?
Me, I don't think that will happen, but I know the point you're making. Things change quickly, right? Yeah.
I think that the mentality can switch that quickly, and suddenly everyone's in a very different place. But equally, it's easy to go, we lose the next couple, and then you go, Emery's in real doo-doos at that point, definitely. But as I hark back to, we've gone all in on Emery at this point now.
There's a comment
You
there
have to
from
look at,
Dom. Sorry, mate. There's a comment there from Dom says, "What
yeah,
would it take for Emery for him to be questioned by you guys?" I mean, I suspect nobody's been listening for the last 2 or 3 weeks. We question him every single episode. His substitutes don't look right. His starting 11 is poor. Tactically, we look miles off it. Is that not questioning him? I think what
no,
people want when they say things like that, what they want is for me to come on here as the host of the podcast of a Birmingham Live. Sack Unai Emery, he's a disgrace. Get him out. Blah blah blah. So it can be clipped up on Twitter, and they go, "Oh, he's finally turned." That's what I think. Finally, some representation on the podcast. I don't think that. I wouldn't sack Emery. I don't think he'll resign. I don't think
he's
he'll
got
be
enough
sacked.
credit in the bank, hasn't he?
Of course,
He's got
yes.
far too much
We are
credit in the
only
bank.
in this position of getting
Yeah.
where we are because of that man. If it was not for Unai Emery joining when he did, we'd never have got to the Champions League. We would probably never be around this area anyway of being in Europe. You've got to have a little bit of patience. Somebody said, we're 18th. Yeah, it's the 21st of September. If we're 18th on the 21st of May, fair enough. I'll be a little more worried then. But there's so much football to be played. And we know there's good players here. We're all happy during the transfer window for keeping hold of all our players.
Yeah.
Kamara today, Tielemans, Watkins, Konsa, Rogers, big players worth loads of money. We've still got them.
Mm.
They haven't turned terrible overnight. They can't have done. But there has to be a change. Something has to change, whether it's mentality, whether it's a bit of confidence, a bit of personnel difference. You know, we said before, Sancho and Maatsen as the left side. That's a complete different change, isn't it, to Dean and Buendia or Rogers? It
looks a lot
different.
better as well, to be honest. It did.
And maybe that's the spark,
Yeah.
right? Tielemans might be back next week, and that's the difference. We win the game against Fulham, and we go, okay, Fulham have started well, but you know we've done all right there. Things change very quickly. Now, if we're bottom come Christmas, that's different, right? It's a long way away yet. There's a lot of matches to be played, and we'll lose lots of games for that to be the case. We are awful right now, but I cannot beat Emery out. So if you want that from your podcast host, find another podcast. And I don't know if there was any others saying that, to be honest.
The question I'd pose to those people is, who do you really want to replace Emery anyway?
Just be, get Iraola, get Glasner. All right, well, they might be good for a year or two, and then what?
Yeah.
What if it happens again? Like football is so cyclical, isn't it?
It doesn't work like that for me. And I think the piece here is that I take away as well is that when I look at the squad selection, it's all well and good for us to sit here and go, oh, you should have started Elliott, you should have started Sancho, but we know for well Sancho isn't fully fit.
Fit.
He didn't have a pre-season really at United, so it's a good position to be able to bring him on as we are right now.
And also, sorry to interrupt, mate. I'm going to let you have the floor in a second because I've said enough. When the players aren't playing are the answer, right? So what's Marlon got to do to get a game? Well, he's had a bit more of a chance now and done naff all with it. So maybe there was a reason Emery wasn't playing him because he's not very good, maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fitness. Sometimes that the player on the bench is because they're on the bench because they're not that good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to, it sounds stupid, you've got to play yourself into form. Rodgers is going to keep playing. Emery wants him to keep playing. And at some point, he's going to have a blinder of a game and we're going to win the game and we're going to go, wow, Rodgers looks good again. Yeah. But he's not going to do that if he's on the bench. And I don't think he is the answer at the moment, Rodgers. I think he's going through a very poor period. I think Watkins the same. But my hope for why I don't think relegation is a possibility whatsoever is that Elliott will be a real bright spark, or Sancho might just suddenly turn it on one week and we go, oh, well, okay. And if he has a good couple of weeks, Villa will then win a couple of games and things look very different. So I can't just kind of sit back and go, yeah, well, we've been terrible so far, so we're going to get relegated. All right, see you for the next episode. That just doesn't compute in my brain like that.
No.
Go on. Do you have a chat?
No, I think that it's quite easy to sit here with the optics on now and look at things. But at 2 o'clock today, if you'd have asked taking a point at Sunderland, I would have done. Dan talking about this on his pod. After about 40 minutes, obviously, you think we should take 3 points. But I think it's the manner in which we've gone about today that is more frustrating for people. And if we'd have walked away with a point and it was 11v11, I think we'd have been quite happy, in truth. I'm more happy to see a goal go in. But I think the big factor that when I look at, in particular, at the moment, the way we are set up, is we've never been good at beating teams with 10 men under Unai Emery. I don't know.
We've been good, haven't we, and struggled in these kind of games. So
it's happened time and time again where we don't seem to know how to beat 10 men. That's not just this season. That's last season under Emery, the season before that under Emery. It's something that there's a mental block there seemingly. But what I would say in counter to that is that people are saying, oh, Sunderland Championship team. Sunderland have spent what is the third most ever or second most ever in Premier League history of a team coming up from the Championship. It's a very different team to the one that was in the Championship. So I think it's quite disrespectful to suggest that Sunderland are a Championship team, point A. And point B to that is that 10 men, it's been proven that we play terrible against 10 men anyway. So I'm not...
No,
sorry,
no team's got...
think,
No team's got a divine right to beat anyone else. If on the preview I'm going, oh, Sunderland are crap, we should beat them. Everyone goes, oh, God, he's so cocky, he's so arrogant. We ain't got no divine right to beat Sunderland. What's he on about? Now we're coming on here going, we'd have taken a point, and that's a loser's mentality or defeat. Everyone just told us we're terrible and we're going to be in relegation trouble. Every point counts then, no? It's a good point.
Take it in isolation as well, though. But Watkins has missed a chance that 9 times out of 10 he buries last season. And he's missed 2 of those big chances today. Gessotner's had a turn and hit on the keeper, which he should have been scoring.
Anywhere else he scores,
And Marlon's been through on goal, and as I said towards the start of the podcast, he booted it 40 yards, 50 yards in front of him, and he's ran straight into the goalkeeper with it. So there's 3 chances there alone, 4 chances where we should have scored. There's other moments in that game that could have gone the other way, and then suddenly it's a very different performance. And
that's why I said at the start we were better. Like, still poor, but better than we've seen because we've actually had a start on goal.
Yeah,
first half was terrible, by the way. Like we didn't have an attempt to be for however long. But you go through it and you go, okay, well, at least we've had a look at the goal. It's more than we've done in other games.
No, I think so. Somebody just called me a clown, which I find funny. But I genuinely, if you can't watch that game and walk away from it and go, Watkins has missed 2 gilt-edged chances that he should bury. Marlon should have buried 1. Those players are out of form, and that's what happens at that moment in time when they're so out of form. Is that's just part and balance of what happens in the game, and things aren't clicking. Of course, we can sit here and mull over it all day long, but in truth, we've got Bologna on Thursday, and we just need to get behind them and show that we are still behind the team and Emery in particular, because he deserves that credit, and I'm sure the away fans were applauding them off as well at the end of the game today. So from that side of things, then give them their due. That's a big week, and suddenly if we have 2 wins, we're sitting there in a very different discussion this time next week. Football. So there's lots to play. There's so much water to go under the bridge still as well. It's silly. We've not lost the game. We've lost once this season, is it? Forgive me. Have we drawn the rest?
Palace and Brentford.
Oh, sorry, yes, we've lost 2, but we've drawn the rest. I know we've not won yet, but it's not like we're getting thumped every week, is it? By any means. There's been tight and fine margins in every game we've played so far this season, and the red card has not helped in one of them as well. So, there's all these factors. I'm not making any excuses here by any means. I just think that it's very easy to come on here and be fuming an hour after full-time whistle, but let's assess it next week and see where we're at then. And if we have lost against Fulham, we have lost against Bologna, whatever it may be, then okay, there's more rhyme or reason to be questioning the way things are heading.
Yeah. Final thing I want to talk about, because I'm not going to sit here and get abused in the comments by anybody for either of us. From Danielis, will Emery resign himself? He went straight down the tunnel 30 seconds before full time. Now, I don't think he'll resign, but I don't know the man personally, so can't say for certain. Just on him going down the tunnel early, it was 20 seconds or something, but not a great look. He did shake hands with Regis Lebris and went down early whilst the game was still continuing, which it's not a great look, is it, that? And it's peak frustration. He wants to get out of there. He wants to get down the tunnel. He wants to go and have an absolute go at the players. I suspect once they're in there, but it's not what you want to see from your manager, is it? To kind of, no one's expecting Villa to score in that final 20 or 30 seconds, but it's like if the manager's given up, like kind of we could all kind of stop watching now, kind of thing. So it isn't a great look. You just got to hope that. I did an interview with Guillaume Balaguer yesterday, and he said that the inverse is out of Villa. The out is very negative. Read that little chat box down there and you'll see for yourself. But as the in, I'm not suggesting it's rainbows and roses and everything's happy, because it isn't. They know that it's not been good enough, but they don't allow that kind of external noise to penetrate. So if it's a good week at training and they use this as motivation for, right, we've really got to kind of sort it out here and go and do something, maybe Emery going in and battering them at full time and having a big meeting on Monday or whatever. That's what changes, and it just takes one player to step up, or Tielemans to come back, like I just said, and he comes back and plays really, really well, and that changes the game. You know, things can change. We've spoken about Emery being kind of Mr. Nice Guy, and he showed signs that he's not Mr. Nice Guy today, and he absolutely shouldn't be. So if that's the thing that changes it, fine. However, it's not a great look when your manager's going down early.
It's not, but what is it that's going to take these players to wake up and smell the coffee, really? And if that's going to help it, then that's brilliant. The idea that the players have stopped listening to I don't ever believe any footballer stops listening to their manager. And the noises that come out of the camp and the club suggest otherwise as well. As you say, I think they ignore the outside noise anyway, point one and point B. I think the players do respect Emery and aren't suddenly going to turn on him. They'd be stupid to. I mean, some of the suggestions in the comments to replace him are ludicrous, to be honest. So in terms of
a few shots of Sean Dyche earlier, we didn't bring it up. Yeah,
I'm like, come on, this is ridiculous. Like, not going to be any better off by doing that, are we? But yeah, it is disrespectful. It is, and I think the fans to a degree deserve more. But it's not like he's always gone over to fans and applauded them anyway. That's not his style.
No, I'm not that bothered about that. It just doesn't look good when the game's going on to go down early.
So I'm not too. I think you could say you can get tied up and say it's disrespectful, etc. But if he gives them a good old rollicking and they're back in tomorrow and grinding away, then that's absolutely fine. And we'll see where we head.
Yeah, okay. We'll wrap up there. Matt, thank you for joining me. I know it's not easy at the moment to talk Villa at all, but at least you only have to do it once in a blue moon. I'm doing it most days this week, so that's good, isn't it? We'll be back later in the week. I think we're going to do Tuesday for our Q&A. Thursday will be the post-match for Bologna, and then we'll do a preview and a post-match for Fulham as well. I'm going to wrap up quickly because I need to cough. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.